You're listening to the Listen Up Girl podcast. I'm your host, Zach Randles-Friedman, and I'm bringing you LGBTQ plus news as quickly as I can and often as needed. Today is Sunday, October the 5th, and I have a lot of news, so I'm going to get right into it. Later in life, lesbians is my first story. Across the U.S., more women are coming out as lesbians later in life, often after decades of a heterosexual marriage, raising children, and deep involvement in religious communities. Experts say this trend stems from compulsory heterosexuality, a cultural force that tells women that straightness is not just normal, but mandatory. For women raised in conservative or faith-based households, attraction to other women is often ignored, suppressed, or delayed for years. Studies back up this trend. A 2013 survey found that 14% of lesbians realized they may not be straight after turning 20, compared to just 3% of gay men. A later 2019 report showed that women enter same-sex marriages at an older age than those entering heterosexual marriages, suggesting many women are reevaluating their identities well into adulthood. Coaches like Anne-Marie Zanzel, who works with later-in-life lesbians, say that as stigma decreases and support networks grow, more women in their 30s, 40s, and even 60s are choosing to live life authentically rather than performing heterosexuality. And that was reported by The Atlantic. Hopefully women will feel more comfortable at a younger age and will feel they can be who they are. Let's just hope. Next story is Priscilla sequel and Terence Stamp's final role. The late Terence Stamp, who passed away in August at the age of 87, left behind a final gift to queer cinema fans. Scenes for a sequel to The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Director Stephen Elliott revealed that months before his death, Stamp reprised his role as Bernadette, the aging trans nightclub performer he made iconic in 1994. According to Elliott, Stamp was initially hesitant but ultimately agreed to return if he could portray the character on his own terms. He refused digital recreation and said that he wanted the chance to put Bernadette down himself, aware of his fragile health. While the blessing of his family, his co-stars Hugo Weaving and Guy Pearce, and the film's financiers, Elliott filmed Bernadette's scenes early. Those performances will now anchor the sequel, offering fans a poignant farewell to Stamp's artistry and one of the LGBTQ cinema's most beloved characters. Reported by Deadline. Alexander Skarsgård on BDSM film. Actor Alexander Skarsgård is making headlines for his upcoming role in Pillion, a queer BDSM drama set in a gay motorcycle club. Directed by Harry Lighton, the film stars Skarsgård as Ray, the charismatic leader of the group, opposite Henry Melling, who plays Colin, a shy guy discovering his sexuality and identity. The film explores themes of dominant submission and the chosen family with a subculture rarely portrayed in mainstream media. At the Zurich Film Festival, Skarsgård stressed that his personal life, which included relationships with both men and women, wasn't important to the role. Instead, he focused on research into leather and kink communities, aiming for authenticity rather than Hollywood characters. Skarsgård contrasted Pillion with earlier depictions like the film Cruising, which framed leather culture as violent and dangerous. He said the goal of Pillion was to capture complexity and humanity, not fear and stereotype. The film is set to release in the UK in late November. Next, Dolly Parton's viral message. So amid her health concerns, which I reported earlier last week, a resurfaced clip of Dolly Parton speaking about LGBTQ plus acceptance has gone viral, reminding fans why she has been an ally for decades. In an interview with Larry King, Parton says, "If you're gay, you're gay. If you're straight, you're straight. We are who we are. We're supposed to love one another, not judge." The clip has been shared millions of times on TikTok and Instagram in recent weeks. The viral moment comes as Parton, now 79, announced she would miss the Governor's Awards in November and postpone several Las Vegas shows due to health challenges. Fans and LGBTQ plus advocates say the timing of the clip feels bittersweet. serving as both comfort and a reminder of the unwavering message of love. From her outspoken stance against bathroom bans to her open support of gay fans as early as the 1990s, Parton remains one of the LGBTQ plus community's most beloved icons, a status she clearly intends to hold for the rest of her career. And that was reported by The Hollywood Reporter. She is such an amazing person. I mean, she cares not just about the LGBTQ plus community, but she cares about people overall. Next, Representative Sarah McBride mocks GOP over shutdown. Representative Sarah McBride of Delaware is using wit to highlight the Republican Party's role in ongoing federal government shutdown. In a social media video posted Tuesday, McBride walked the empty hallways of Congress searching for Republicans she claimed had gone missing while Democrats were still in the building and ready to work. McBride, who made history as the first openly transgender state senator in the U.S. before being elected to Congress, has become known for her sharp use of social media to push back against GOP obstruction. She has consistently tied the shutdown to Republican fighting and attempts to push anti-LGBT riders into spending bills. Her latest posts have gone viral, cementing her status as one of the rising Democrat voices countering the Trump administration's agenda. That was reported by AP, and it was also on McBride's X account. Next, we go to Virginia, where gay GOP candidate scandal. In Virginia, John Reed, a far-right radio host and first openly gay Republican to run for statewide office, is facing scandal after being linked to Tumblr account that reshared Nazi pornography. Reed has denied the connection, calling it a smear campaign rooted in homophobia, but archived versions of the account appear to contradict his denial. The revelations come at a pivotal moment in Reed's campaign for lieutenant governor, where he has aligned himself with Donald Trump's policies while branding himself as proof the GOP can be inclusive. Critics say the scandal exposes deep contradictions in his messaging. LGBTQ plus advocates have also pointed out that aligning with a party advancing anti-gay and anti-trans legislation while campaigning as openly gay makes Reed a lightning rod for controversy, and now his campaign may not recover. That was reported by the Huffington Post and LGBTQ plus Nation. I don't even know what Nazi pornography even means. What is that? Who would be into that? He is a sick fuck. My next story is about Marissa Miller documentary. So transgender advocate Marissa Miller is subject of a new film, All the Broken Pieces, the Marissa Miller documentary. The documentary traces Miller's journey as a leader in HIV prevention, her creation of the National Trans Visibility March in 2019, and her work as the executive director of Trans Solutions, a nonprofit providing health care and housing resources for trans communities. The film captures a pivotal moment in Miller's career as she steps down from leadership roles and reflects on the challenges still facing the trans community, from systematic housing discrimination to gaps in health care access. Miller says she hopes her story inspires future advocates and keeps attention on issues of social justice and survival for transgender Americans. The film is already generating buzz on the LGBTQ plus festival circuit. Next, Utah lawmaker targets Harvey Milk Blvd. In Salt Lake City, controversy is growing after a Utah Republican lawmaker introduced a proposal to rename Harvey Milk Blvd in honor of right-wing activist Charlie Kirk. Milk, one of the first openly gay elected officials in U.S. history, has long been celebrated as a symbol of visibility and progress. Local LGBT groups say the proposal is an attempt to erase queer history and replace it with figure tied to anti-LGBTQ rhetoric. Residents and activists have rallied in opposition, recognizing petitions and public demonstrations to preserve Milk's name. Many see the debate as part of a larger trend of conservatives targeting LGBTQ plus symbols in public spaces, an effort not just to change names, but to rewrite cultural memory. And that was reported by the Salt Lake Tribune. Next, trade war fallout. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, the first openly gay man to hold the position, is facing tough questions about the administration's ongoing trade war with China. U.S. farmers, once heavily reliant on China as their largest soybean buyer, now say exports have dropped to zero due to tariffs and retaliatory policies. Many rural communities are feeling the economic pain. When asked on CNBC's Squawk Box, Bessent defended the administration, claiming a Chinese official told him that the breakdown in trade was Joe Biden's fault. Critics, however, argue the statement deflects responsibility from Trump's aggressive tariff strategy. Farmers warn that politicians argue they are losing markets they may never regain. For LGBTQ+ advocate, Bessent's role is also symbolic. He is one of the highest-ranking gay officials in a deeply conservative administration tasked with defending policies that argue are hurting working-class families. That was reported by CNBC's Squawk Box. So how can you blame Joe Biden's administration whenever Trump is the one that put the tariffs? And you know what? I have read that a lot of these farmers are the ones that have voted for Trump. So what you asked for is what you are getting. It's sad that these farmers are losing all this money, and I hate that. But you voted for this man. So this is what you got. You voted for him twice. My final story is Representative Robert Garcia on the Epstein files. Representative Robert Garcia of California is demanding answers after Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick made strange comments about a massage room linked to Jeffrey Epstein. Garcia, who serves as the top Democrat of the House Oversight Committee, wants Lutnick to testify about what he knows. Garcia agrees that Epstein ties to powerful men, including Donald Trump, are too significant to ignore. He has pledged to continue pressing the release of the sealed Justice Department files, saying transparency is the only way to restore public trust. Democrats note that Garcia's efforts to gain new momentum if Arizona Congresswoman-elect Alita is sworn in, as she is pledged to provide the final vote needed to force a hearing. And this is the woman that they will not sign in, that Mike Johnson will not sign in. He is delayed. And this is sourced by AP and the House Oversight Committee. So that's my news for Sunday, October the 5th. Once again, not a lot of positive or good news, but I'm bringing you the news so you can stay aware, be informed, and make your own decisions. So thanks for listening, and talk to you later this week with more LGBTQ+ news.